The Amazing Digital Circus was a smash hit in terms of indie animation and, well, just popularity as a whole. It reached a broad view of a fan base, and despite how negative that view could be, it is a great example of what can be done if you give indie creators a chance to thrive, especially with how well it's currently doing in the box office. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Did the last episode hold up to the reputation that the rest of the show had? Was it as good as the last 8 episodes? Well, that's what we're here to talk about today. I'm Nikki Burchett, and this is our review for The Amazing Digital Circus, The Last Act. Now, to begin, I'm going to try to actually talk about the pros here. There are a few cons, but if I'm being completely honest, I think this episode is probably the best one in the entire series. I would give it a very high rating and say that the entire hour was just an amazing experience for me. All the characters are written very well. I think the arcs were handled good as well. Overall, to give a quick summary and quick warning, make sure you've seen the episode first. This is going to go into heavy spoiler territory. So if you have not seen it yet, I'd highly recommend watching it first. But basically, to make a quick plot, this is immediately after episode 8. They are discussing, what's going on with Kane. He died. What are they going to do now? And Jax just blows up. He has hit his breaking point and he cannot take anymore. Especially when Kinger admits that turns out we're all right. They are, in fact, brain copies of everybody. So the Soma theory? That's true. As someone who was theorizing that as well, I was pretty proud of myself for figuring that out. But yeah, everybody's not doing too well. But Pomni, still wanting to help everybody, joins Kinger in trying to rebuild the circus and figure out what they can do next. But everybody starts to come in, and because of Pomni not giving up, and Kinger also, trying to fix the circus and do everything, this recovers Zubul, Gangle, and Ragatha. Now, we all know who didn't join in. Jax. Jax was about to join in, and it seemed like a very cute moment, but he gave up at the end, and he abstracted. Now, for how I think they handled the abstraction, I actually think it was very well done, at least later on. As for the entirety of the abstraction itself, him getting abstracted, I actually think it was quite unceremonious. It was really abrupt, and it was very difficult to actually keep track of who abstracted. Me and my brother at first were actually assuming it was Kinger since we couldn't see him, and I was assuming they were going the route of, oh, he taught everything they need to know about creating and working on the circus, and so now it's on them because of where he was at with sanity. But no, it was Jax. Now, as for how they handle the rest of it, Jax's backstory and what we learn about him, I actually think that part was done really well. I enjoyed the interpretation for him making up these different personalities in his head and these different thought processes. There's going to be different interpretations online, but me personally, when Pomni is going through Jax's head and seeing these different thoughts, Gooseworks actually mentioned something about intrusive thoughts. I believe that maybe this was a representation of intrusive thoughts trying to be written, and if that is the case, I think this was beautifully done. I think this was a great representation of these intrusive thoughts that you can have, and I think they're a great representation of like certain parts of Jax as well, like the things he's scared of, the things that make him feel vulnerable or feel ashamed of himself. Now, the inclusion of Ribbit, I recognize that Ribbit, that was a big thing, promoting her, and she's kind of a haunting the narrative situation. But I do think they introduced her haunting the narrative a little too late, and I do hate that we didn't really get to see her until episode 9. I think her character is really fun. I did like her. I think she's we didn't get enough of her personality, unfortunately. Like, what little we did get, I did like her. I did really enjoy her time on screen. Voice actors did a great job. I really liked all of the voice work in here, but I think her and Michael Kovac did phenomenal. Those two really just hit it out of the park. If episode 8 was known for Alex's job as Kane, this episode should be known for Michael Kovac and the voice actors for Ribbit. And I apologize, but I don't know her name. So I'm going to have the editor put her name on screen so she gets the credit she deserves, because she did very good as well. But overall, Ribbit was a good inclusion. I just think she was really late into the narrative. I wish they would have brought her in a little sooner. Overall, how do I think the ending went? I actually was very shocked by Kane showing back up. That was insane. I think that was a crazy twist. And like I said, I actually didn't really like Kane. It was a joke, but me and my mother kind of joked when he first got deleted. And I actually really enjoyed his very quick redemption at the end. I say quick, but the pacing was actually pretty good in this. I thought it paced itself pretty well, other than when, you know, Jack's abruptly abstracted. That was the only time I think the pacing wasn't that great. But Kane's revival and showing the blue AI was actually the issue. The entire interpretation I thought was really cool. Seeing the inclusion of Scratch, like how he got brought into the circus, Kane trying to learn more about their human lives, learning what he did was wrong. The whole thing I thought was really cool. And I enjoyed them showing the bubble at the beginning with no face to symbolize how, oh, you know, it's always been two personalities. And I recognize, like, people are going to say, well, the blue AI represented itself in just Bubble. I think it may have represented itself in some of Kane's actions as well. And I'd like to rewatch the show just to see, but from what I could tell, it seems like that's what was happening. It wasn't just Bubble that was representing the blue AI. I think some of Kane's actions also did that. And genuinely, it was really heartwarming where he was able to atone for his actions towards them and make up for what he did. And as for how it ended, you know, is it a good ending? Overall, I would say I think it was the possible best ending we could have gotten. I thought it would be a lot sadder. I thought it'd be a lot scarier, but it was very, I would say, wholesome. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, what about Jackson the other abstracted? And in the case of Rivet, yeah, you know, Queenie, Kaufmo, all of them, I feel like their punishment in this, you know, like abstraction's kind of a punishment, but I feel very bad for them. Jax kind of did it to himself. Like, I felt bad for him and I was hoping they could fix him, like with the way Pomni was talking to him and stuff, but in the case of Jax, he did it to himself and he does need to pay for what he did. Like, he himself tells Pomni, I know what I'm a bad person. He knows that he was awful. He abused Gangle. He pushed both his friends. He pushed both his friends to abstraction. He needs to have some kind of karma for what he did. I think for what happened, for what they could do, giving control over to the crew for the circus and, you know, letting them build their own lives there and giving Kane a chance to redeem himself and make the friends that he truly wanted by taking the time to understand and to atone, I think it was great. I actually thought it was fantastic. But if I had to really give a rating, I want to give it a 9 out of 10. Like, I really do. But you do not understand how upsetting it was to have to rewatch that episode for a third time. Like, again, the episode is great. I love 8. 8 is one of the best ones, but I've already seen it 3 times. I want to watch the new episode. I don't want to rewatch that again. Like, the whole thing. I did enjoy the fish at the beginning. I hate that he died, though. Poor little guy. Anyway, I would say I give it an 8.9 out of 10. Fantastic way to end the show. I truly loved it. There were obviously a couple missteps here and there, but to be completely honest, for a first time having a theatrical release for an indie project that was completely free up to this point, I think Gooseworks and Glitch hit it out of the park. I think they did a great job, and hopefully these little errors here and there will be fixed if they try to do this again. I realized I ranted a lot with this review, but I genuinely had a really good time in the theater with this. And if you guys enjoy these rambly reviews where I give my opinion on this type of media, there are plenty of different reviews for games and other stuff on our channel. And if you're actually looking to have a nice little book to read when you're off work or you just want something for your kids to read, there are comic books that I've hand-drawn and handwritten on the site as well. Most of them are free. There are 2 on there that are, I would say, a pretty reasonable price, but those are on there too. So if you enjoy our content and you enjoyed this review and you would like to see more from us, like, subscribe, make sure to share it with everybody, let them know what's going on, and check out our site. And please, thank you just for all the support you give. Even downloading the free books and watching these is plenty of support.